Right, would anybody else like to give it a go?
Sorry,
Fox,
say that again. Oh, go on, AG.
Oh, I was going to give you my age. I'm 23. Gender
you.
2002.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Nate, you can try and refute this. I know you know this definition. So, a woman is an adult person whose gender identity corresponds to the biopsychosocial schema of a female.
Okay, describe the biopsychosocial schema of being female in a way that distinguishes it from the biopsychosocial schema of being male.
So when you say distinguish, I think the core when you say like distinguish the schema is just going to distinguish itself, right? The schema of a female is going to be different than the schema of a male. But
yeah, what makes the question is what makes them different.
Yeah, having the schema of a female as opposed to having the schema of a male.
That's circular. You can't. Yeah, that's circular. You can't say the distinction between the schema. Oops. You can't say the distinction between the schema of female is having the schema of female and distinguish.
That's not what I said.
That is what you said. I asked you what the distinction. Okay, well then I'm going to repeat the question and you're going to answer it again. What is the distinction between the biosocial? What is the difference between the biopsychosocial schema of being female versus being male?
Yeah.
What is the distinction?
Yeah, the distinction is the fact that they have the schema of a female as opposed to the schema of a male. If you're asking me to explain what the schema is, I can do that.
That's what I did. That's what I said. I said describe. I said define.
So the schema of female is the overlapping biological,
allow me to finish. Allow me to finish the question before you start reading from ChatGPT. I greatly appreciate it. Can you define the biopsychosocial schema, of being female, right, in a way that distinguishes it from the biopsychosocial schema of being male? That is the entirety of the question. And props to your Discord for trying to help you out here, because you keep flopping this debate.
I don't know why you're making assumptions.
It's very obvious that you're reading from something, love. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, I take notes. I read notes.
Just keep it
respectful. I think it's important, right?
Yeah,
these are like in-depth conversations, Nate.
Not very in-depth.
In-depth conversations. I think it's important. I can't memorize all of these things. I think it's important that you read facts.
Sure.
Doesn't mean I'm reading ChatGPT just because you do.
Yeah.
Anyways, the schema of a female is going to be the overlapping biological, psychological, and social pattern that societies use to make sense of gender, right?
Okay, but female is a sex, so you're contradicting yourself. Your gender and sex are different. A person's biopsychosocial schema of the female sex cannot be related to gender.
They're intertwined. You can't have one without the other.
Okay, you haven't distinguished it from the male schema.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't. You just said that they had.
Would you like me to give you an example of somebody's schema? Because the schema is going to be.
I'm not asking for no. The answer is no. I'm not asking you for an example. I'm asking you for a definition of the schema. You need to define the schema before you give examples. An example is different from a definition. So I'm asking you to define the psychosocial schema of female. You haven't done that because all you said is that the biopsychosocial schema of female is the overlapping biological, social, and psychological aspects that we use to see gender. That did not describe anything, because the same can be said for the male schema. So you have not defined it in a way that distinguishes it yet. So no, you haven't answered the question.
Yeah. So when we say schema, right, schemas are going to be like a psychological mechanism that we deploy to recognize a concept or store information about concepts. You understand schemas now?
I already know what a schema is. I'm asking you specifically to describe the female schema in a biopsychosocial manner.
Okay. So on the biological level, we can talk about like reproductive anatomy. On the psychological level, it's going to be womanhood, right? On a social matter, it's going to be
circular.
Woman or
you can't say a woman. Circular. Yeah, it is. I'll explain. You can't say woman is a person who has the biopsychosocial schema of female, and the psychological part of female is womanhood. You're just going in a circle again. You're just going from female to woman, woman to female. That doesn't elaborate anything. Now, really quickly.
That's not a circle. Hold on. That's not a circle.
I just explained how it was. If you're saying,
I don't care if you think that it's a circle. That's not circular.
Well,
we talk about the psychological aspects of being a woman.
Can you please listen? You can't say the psychological aspect of being a woman is womanhood. You're just adding the suffix hood to the word woman. It's like saying the psychological aspect of being a child is childhood. You're not describing anything. You're just adding the suffix to the noun. You haven't defined the noun. That's the issue. So it is circular. Now, really quickly, the first part of the definition, the explanation, you said biological. You said it was a person whose gender identity aligns with the biopsychosocial schema of the female sex. How can your gender identity align with reproductive anatomy? Because reproductive anatomy is not contingent upon your identity, so there's another issue.
Yeah, well, gender identity would be, right? Because like, what are trans people? Their sex is incongruent with their their sex is incongruent with their gender, right?
Yeah,
And they're
how-
aware of this based off of like secondary, like sex characteristics, right?
No,
So
you
they
said
don't rely
no.
on
You said
their secondary
reproductive.
sex
No,
characteristics.
you said reproductive anatomy. Reproductive anatomy is not secondary sex characteristics. Do you know the difference between primary and secondary sex characteristics?
Yes, but that
What's
would,
the
they would still be,
difference?
that would still
What's
be
the difference?
that would still
What?
be reproductive anatomy.
Wrong. Secondary sex characteristics are not.
A penis isn't a reproductive anatomy?
No, penis is not a secondary sex characteristic. It's a primary one. You don't know the difference between primary and secondary sex characteristics, so I'll explain it to you. The difference
No, I
between
already know.
primary.
You need to explain
No,
it. I
no,
know
you
what
don't.
ovaries are
No,
and
okay.
testes
So
and
no,
stuff
so
like
hold
that.
on.
I
So
need to
explain the
explain
difference. Explain the difference between primary and secondary sex characteristics.
Just explain the difference. I think that's irrelevant.
Okay, so you just brought them up, so no, it's not. Answer the question. I know you're typing while you're doing this so that you can answer, but
Yeah,
you just,
I turned on my camera so you can
so
literally see
just
that I'm
no, it's
literally
okay.
not
Just
typing.
answer the question. What is the difference between primary and secondary sex characteristics?
The
You don't know.
difference-
All right, I'll tell you. It's
the
okay.
difference-
I'm gonna
Okay,
save you
go
the I'm gonna save you the embarrassment. It's okay. So primary, yeah, there's a computer in front of you. So primary
course
sex
there is. I already
characteristics.
told you I was reading- I'm reading notes.
It's okay. Stop talking. Primary sex characteristics are particular sexual organs specifically directly involved in reproduction, and secondary sex characteristics are sex characteristics that develop during the pubertal stage. They happen during puberty. Things like body hair and hormones and so on. Those are and breasts and stuff like that. Those are secondary. So you said reproductive anatomy. Reproductive anatomy is not considered secondary sex characteristics. They're considered primary sexual characteristics because they're involved in reproduction, hence the term reproductive anatomy. Now, with that being said, what I want you to do is explain to me how a trans woman can identify with a reproductive anatomy that they don't have. Because you're saying the person has to have the biopsychosocial marker or schema of the female sex. How can a person born male have a biological association, with the sex that they're not? Explain.
Yeah, so my definition includes cis women, right? So like a trans woman doesn't need to fit into this. I hold to a cluster concept to where as long as you like meet certain criteria, then you fit into the category, right? So
Okay,
you don't need
how
to,
much of the
it's not a
criteria-
necessary condition in order to fit into that.
Yeah, cluster concepts still have necessary conditions. It's just that you
No,
need to
they
have
don't.
multiple. Yes,
That's
they
not
do.
true.
Yes, it is. I'll explain how cluster concepts work. So, cluster concepts don't have necessary conditions in the sense that you don't just need one to fall into it, but they still have necessary conditions in the sense that you still require a certain amount.
A concept. It's a concept that
can you
includes
allow me
traits that
to-
are neither
can you allow me
necessary
to-
or sufficient for membership.
Can you let me finish?
No.
So, okay, so you're not having a good faith debate then. You're just yapping and reading from your computer. So,
It's a
yet
joke.
again, yeah, those are usually funny.
You've been
but,
interrupting them too, so I think fair's
sorry,
fair.
Sorry, actually, not really. If I interrupt, it's to clarify something, not to be vitriolic and rude. But okay. So, anyways, cluster concepts do have necessary conditions, not in the sense that you think I'm referring to it. Right? The cluster concept still requires that in order to fall into the particular category, you need to have a certain amount of those characteristics from the weighted class to fall into that category.
I
That's how
literally
we-
just read you the
that's
definition.
how-
Nate. I don't know why you're
that's how-
giving it to
That's how
me.
weighted. Yeah, when it says it doesn't
It's they're
require
neither necessary or
You see,
sufficient.
you see how you're not letting me. You see how you're not letting me finish.
You're also not letting them finish either.
I actually did let her finish because I'm responding to what she said. I wouldn't be responding to what she said if I didn't hear
You're
her.
steamrolling, is what you're
I'm
doing.
really,
Nate.
I'm really not. You're just not allowing me
You're
to finish.
yapping. You're yapping for in 5 minutes.
Just take a breath. It's all right. You both.
I can drop
why
them
am
if
I
you
being-
want.
Am I being muted?
They're not exactly here in good faith either.
I'm being muted for some reason.
Nate's
Hold-
never here in good faith.
Both
though.
is me,
Don't ever
Emma.
believe Nate's here in good faith. Nate calls women cunts.
I'm trying to explain this to AG who doesn't know
If you
what
call
woman
women
is.
cunts, of course you're not here in good faith.
So, who are you speaking to?
You.
I was responding to AG, actually.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, no, like I have to agree
so
with you.
what are the weighted characteristics or part of the cluster concept that make a person a woman?
Yeah, so the weighted concepts of having like that, having the like biopsychosocial schema. The biopsychosocial schema you either have like the psychological aspect, the social aspect, or the biological aspect.
Yeah, describe the biological, the social, and the psychological. You can't just say the
I was in the middle
biopsychological. You
of
can't
it
say
too,
the.
stop
I
me.
didn't interrupt you. Allow me to finish. You can't say the biopsychosocial schema is having the biological, the psychological, and the social. You're being circular again. Do better, hon. What I want you to do is define the social. So let's go with the bio first. What are the biological? And just to clarify, is this a conjunction or a disjunction? Do you need the bio, the psycho, and the social, or is it a disjunction? Which one is it?
When you say disjunction, what do you mean? Like, can you be
I just
separated?
explained it. I just said the conjunction means you require the biological, the social, and the psychological. That's what conjunction means. If it's a disjunction, you
No, it's
only
a
need to have
disjunction.
so you only need the bio or the social or
Yes.
right. So you don't. Okay. So you can't say biopsychosocial schema. Biopsychosocial schema implies that it is all in one. If it's biopsycho and social, that means it's a conjunction. So you've contradicted yourself. You can't
Wait,
use
I
conjunctive.
don't think that entails
No,
that. What's the argument that it entails that somebody has to have the biopsychosocial schema? Like that it all entails all.
That's not the argument I'm making. I'm saying the terminology you're using is conjunctive. You can't. Biopsychosocial schema means that it's a conjunct of biology, sociology, and psychology. That's what biopsychosocial means. When you have a biopsychosocial model, it doesn't exclude biology and only include sociology and psychology. If you're saying it's biopsychosocial, it means it's a conjunct. If it's not a conjunct, then it's not a biopsychosocial schema. You would just say a woman is a person who can have either the bio or the social or the psychological schema of the female sex, not and. You said and in your definition, so you've contradicted yourself again. So is it a conjunct or is it a disjunct? Just to clarify. If not, if it's a disjunct, then the definition falls apart. So is it a conjunct or a disjunct?
Separate.
Might I also
What is your Discord server helping you with this?
No, I'm
nothing to do
googling
with
if it's a
any
conjunct. I don't just take you.
Oh, you're
Like,
googling it.
Yeah, Google's a search engine.
You don't know how language
I'm gonna
works.
look.
No, it's,
Wait, I
it's
don't know how
okay.
language
people,
works.
people are learning. People are learning.
No. The thing is, I think that you can learn, but the AG okay, just to clarify, just for the history, AG likes to come up into, and the chat can attest to this. AG likes to come into debates with a lot of confidence and very little knowledge, and it's very embarrassing. It's making me cringe a little bit. So you come up, you don't actually. AG doesn't know what she's talking about, but she'll come up with a very exacerbated amount of confidence, and it's very embarrassing, quite frankly. So I'm just saying.
That's
that
okay. At least I don't call women cunts.
if you're, okay, sorry.
Guys, let's not turn this into a one-on-one.
Nate's gonna do that then. Nate's gonna do that. Yeah.
Right. So can you?
But I'm gonna step in here and say
So
that
can I-
needs to stop.
I haven't called anybody any names, so yeah.
Yes, you have.
Do you know?
You just insulted me for the last 30 seconds.
I didn't insult you. I said that you tend to come up into debate with lack of knowledge. That's a fact, not an insult.
No, you said it's embarrassing,
very
right? You're saying it's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
I
and
said
I'm
that-
googling
yeah.
something to make sure that I'm correct.
That's not
because
an
I can
insult.
be corrected. I can be corrected, Nate.
not an
And if it is a conjunct, right, then I would just change my definition, right?
Right, which
So
you
can
always
just say,
have to
like-
do because
you
you
can
don't
just
think the
say, like,
definition through before you
a
give it.
woman is an adult person whose gender corresponds with with femaleness. How about that?
Femaleness. Okay, so
Yeah.
now the definition is changed. This is what you do. So you come up with what you think is a well-thought definition, then you end up having to change it. This is what happens exactly.
Well, that's
So
just
it's
because I
okay.
don't have a reputation.
No. It's okay. It's okay, honey boo boo. We're gonna go through the next
Calm down,
definition.
please.
All right.
Okay, let's
Let's
not
go.
use pejorative nicknames for people. That's
You
disrespectful.
you
Edna.
called me cupcake, so you have no right to speak on that. Anyways,
Well,
I
ET,
don't-
if we
Cupcake
want to
was in
be,
an
if
answer
we
to my
want to
child.
talk about disrespectful, we can talk about you lying about being interested.
No, Emo, we're not doing that. We're
Right.
not
So
doing that.
so
We're not
anyways,
doing that.
so
No,
so
we-
anyways.
The cupcake comment was to my child.
No, you were talking to me. Don't lie.
No, it
No,
was
we're
not
not
my child.
No,
The
you
comment was,
said,
as I
you said, and I quote, that's international cupcake because you were talking about the medical organizations. I have it clipped. Don't lie. You were talking to me. Don't lie. You were talking to me.
We'll take a breath.
No, I'm fine. I don't have asthma. I'm fine. No,
I'm
anyways.
not even just saying to you. I think everyone just let's settle back down and refocus.
Right. So back to the debate since we have a lot of liars in here now. So a woman is what now? How the definition has changed.
Hi, Arena.
Yeah,
woman
a
is
woman
what?
is an adult person whose gender identity corresponds with femaleness.
Okay. What is femaleness?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say femaleness is just going to be like it's gonna be derivative from the female schema.
The female schema. Okay, that's not what the word femaleness means. So you don't know what femaleness means. Female means the state or quality of being female. That's what femaleness is. So
Well, if we're looking at it in a gendered sense, then no. I
well,
disagree.
female is a sex, not a gender. So you're contradicting yourself again. Is female a sex or a gender?
I think that they're intertwined.
I didn't ask you if sex and gender were intertwined. Is female a sex or a gender?
I think it's a sex, but I think it's intertwined with gender.
It can also define the female gender in a way that distinguishes it from the male gender.
I'm not. I said that I think that they're intertwined.
Yeah, exactly. So define the female gender then. Go ahead. Define the female gender in a way that
I don't
distinguishes it
think
from the
that
male
it's a
gender.
gender. I think
You
that
just said that
sex
it's
and gender are
intertwined.
intertwined. Yes.
No, you said that it can refer to sex and it can also refer to gender. That's what you said.
I think no. I think in order for you to have gender, you have to have sex, right? So in order for you to
Okay.
derive being a woman, being womanhood, you'd have to get it from being a female.
Okay, so then trans women are not women because they're not female. What?
No,
All of that yappalations to get right back to the point.
No,
So you're saying,
no.
no, wait, pause. You said in order to be a woman, you have to derive it from being female. So if you have
no,
to
I'm
derive it from being
explaining
female,
hold on, I'm explaining something. So like if we're talking like
that's funny.
hold on, you were talking about females, so of course I'm going to give you something that pertains to females. But if you're talking
It's not
about
what you said.
males,
You said that in order
Yes,
to
okay.
that in order to get womanhood, you have to derive it from being female. That's what
you
you
don't
said.
always though. I didn't say always. I don't know.
No,
what
you
your straw man
said
message
gender
is
and
from.
sex are essentially intertwined. Therefore, you said in
Yes,
order.
gender and sex are intertwined. Correct.
Right, exactly. So you said, and I quote, in order to have womanhood or to get womanhood, you have to derive it from being female. When you say you need to derive from female, you're saying being female is
Okay, then
necessary. to be a woman.
I retract my statement. That's not
Oh,
what I
as you
meant.
always have to do because you don't think through your statements. Go again. Third time the charm.
Why are you
Right.
being so condescending?
Because that's
No,
not-
no. Okay, I explained this before.
That
and I
sounded
explained-
incredibly
Alex,
condescending.
That's why I
That's
said
the-
it. That's why I said it. So
Yeah, that's it for you.
Why are we entertaining this condescending person? Like, they're
Let
not
me-
here in good faith if they're going to treat us like shit.
hold on. Let me explain something. This is one thing that I'll always make known as my pet peeve. People who speak very confidently about things they have no clue about piss me the fuck off, and that's what AG does. AG comes up, she goes in her little Discord server with her little wannabe Phil Bros. She pulls up a definition on ChatGPT and thinks that she can string it
That's
along.
hilarious because
And-
hold on a
and
second.
every
Before
single
you
time,
lie,
and every
Nate,
single time,
before you lie, Nate,
and every-
I'm not on Discord. I have
don't know why
notes
I'm being
because I
stiff.
take notes. This isn't
Yeah,
Discord.
We can see the Discord
Mute-
tab in the
mute
middle.
him.
We can see the Discord tab in the middle.
Yeah,
right there.
that's fine, right? There's nothing
right.
here
So
that
you
I'm
were in
talking about.
Discord, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
anyways,
there's
So what
Nothing
is your
you're
problem with
talking
us
about.
using notes to converse with you?
No,
What is
no,
your problem with bringing our educated
that's
sources?
not even what I
You
said.
clearly
If
have
you-
a
if you-
problem with it, considering
Can
what's
I
up on the
can
computer.
Can I finish responding before you accuse me of things I didn't say? I didn't say there was an issue using notes. My issue is speaking ignorantly about something that you're not able to expound upon. That's what AG does. She comes up, she throws a bunch of words together like word salad, and she gives me a bunch of word vomit. And then when I critique it, she ends up falling right apart. She's given 3 definitions of the word woman, and she came up
I've given
so
2.
confident.
Keep
She
track.
oh,
Keep
sorry,
track,
well,
mate.
sorry.
2.
You were going.
Do you know
on to-
numbers?
That,
2.
okay,
Host-
that's not much better, but all right. So you gave 2
Host, we've
definitions
entered a
of the
circular
word.
conversation. Edna's not here in good faith.
Sorry, what do you mean
she's
I'm not
done
here
a
in
lot
good
of intro.
faith?
I am talking.
You interrupted me, so I'm talking. Actually,
Right, no, hang on. I'm going to interrupt because I'm the host. There we go. Okay, right. There we go.
prove them wrong. AG can't prove me wrong. ET can't prove me wrong. She's still looking for her damn source, right? None of you people in here have been able to prove me wrong. Instead, you go.
I
on a
am not
character.
she, her.
Instead, I don't give a shit. Instead, you give.
Do not
you want
misgender me!
There we go. There's a rage. Anyways,
Edna.
you go on a character assassination. No, I'm tired of.
I have been just misgendered 8 different times today. I've had it. I've had so many people misgender me today.
Yeah, no, this is not okay. This
I
is
asked
exactly my
respectfully.
point.